We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. Lots on the go. The world continues to turn. You look out into the streets and you question reality at times. Like myself, where do I sit? Where do I stand? But where I am going to be standing is these upcoming dates here. This weekend, October 12th, Fort St. John. Next weekend, the 25th in Red Deer. November 7th, Fox Creek. November 8th, Peace River. November 9th, Grand Prairie, Alberta. November 16th, Toronto, Ontario. November 17th, Niagara Falls. November 22nd, Medicine Hat, Alberta. The 29th and 30th in Edmonton. December 13th in Thunder Bay, Ontario. December 19th in Oxnard. December 31st in Castlegar, British Columbia. January 24th in Slave Lake, Alberta. And currently about to seal the deal for a January 25th show in Fort McMurray, Alberta. If you enjoy the podcast, please support. Head on over to patreon.com/dangercat69 to support the podcast in all the endeavors that this channel gets up to. We appreciate it big time. Lots on the go. First off, let's tip our hats here. You know, hockey guy, sports guy. I know some folks are turning away from major sport leagues, going too woke, blah, 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 blah. But the fan base is what we should zero in on. Utah finally gets an NHL team, and These are the things I enjoy about hockey. Is Utah Hockey Club sets beer sales record in first ever NHL game. The Utah Hockey Club won its season opener over Chicago and goes and crushes liquor sales in the barn for the, what is the name of their arena again? The Delta Center, the home of the NBA's Utah Jazz. Hockey fans amongst the elite. Beautiful. That's good news. You want to sit back and enjoy a game where, you know, whether or not we can argue about the game. There's probably things that we disagree about with rule changes and even down into the minor ranks, you know. But hockey fans, in their hearts, are just beauties coming out. The basketball games set in especially in a Mormon state like Utah. I remember I grew up in the Bible Belt of Alberta. Okay, I grew up in the Bible Belt. The Momos, they love their basketball. They love their school sports, and then the outlaw kind of, you know, outsider of the religious realm of school. We played hockey. There had to be some violence to it, you know. The Mormon kids were always like on the offensive side of football. I'm not swift with football language, so forgive me. But I always remember they were always interested in being quarterbacks, wide receivers, you know. That was their duty. And then the defensive end was always kind of like the guys that were like, I just thoroughly love smashing my body into another human being for like a dominance feel, you know, like I'm a young man, the testosterone spiking in the system, and I just want to fuck somebody up. That's it. Where hockey, you can kind of do that offensively and defensively, you know, you can offensively hit somebody and the options there to fight. So there's a different mindset, and it breeds like great fans, and to go and crush what was the overall 16,000 fans in attendance, and they put up $120,000 in beer, just beer. Gary Bettman comes out. It's amazing. First of all, there are so many great fans here, and the reception that the NHL has gotten here in Salt Lake City has been fantastic. So thank you, fans. There was like a Jumbotron playing, you get the people into it, and dudes just crushing beers. That's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. You know, we can relax off politics and society and where we're going. Obviously, we're going to talk about that later in the episode, but let's feel good for a second. The fellas are getting together out in Utah and letting loose a little bit. They're tipping back some ice cold pints, watching the fellas chalk up the first win of the season. First game, and it's lights out. 16,000 people crushing beers together. Unity. That's what we need. That's what we need. A few cocktails out at the sporting event. And there was even there was some, charged up boys out there. Some scrums happening. I believe there was a couple fights in that game from the highlights that I was seeing. Slinging some knucks. Shedding the mitts. Oh, what a beautiful sight. It's beauty. It's beautiful. It's art. Consume it. Enjoy it. Be a part. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's how we move forward a little bit. Because everybody's so wound up tight. We're seeing it. It's in the streets. It's seeped into Canada. But I wanted to tip my hat on this show to all the fans out there in Utah that showed up and setting a beer record first night. Oh, hello, basketball fans. That's what you were competing against. Not much of a challenge, I don't think. Hockey fans and football fans are a little more closer, and then basketball fans are a little different in that sense of crushing drinks and just watching some action take place in front of your eyeballs. Men battling one another, getting low in those corners, digging some lumber into a spine, and then you go up for a rebound and you bump into one another, and then a couple 6'4" guys hit the hardwood, and they were like, oh, a little shove, and they're like, oh, some animosity in the basketball game tonight, where it's that's after every whistle. The argument is always going to happen against all the major sporting leagues of who's the toughest? Who is the toughest? And time and time again, we got to sit back and be it's the hockey players. It's just a tough sport. The fans are tough, built different. I love it. And that's how I want to start the show. I want to set the tone. I want to set the tone. Just like the Utah Hockey Club fans. I don't like the name. There was a million other ways you could have went with that. Utah Hockey Club. Come on. Let's get it together here. What are we doing? Let's get a little creative. You got the Vegas Golden Knights. Great name. At first, everybody was a little upset about it. I remember it's oh, it's too tacky. And then all of a sudden, you kind of settle into it. And it's it's all right. It's okay. And over time, you just grow to like it. It's like a stepkid. Over time, you're just this kid's going nowhere. I might as well love it. There's no sense being at war with him. We live under the same roof. So you just accept it into your own reality. This is just going to exist for quite some time, being a hockey fan. Vegas Golden Knights, but the Utah Hockey Club, I don't like the name. I hope to God that they don't stick with it. I hope. I'm sure we'll see a change. I'm sure. Anyways, like I was saying, we got a lot happening on the planet. We got a lot happening in the country. We got a lot happening in the continent. There's hurricanes. There's people screaming in the streets. We got people right now, video that went viral. This ain't good. Didn't look good. That's for sure. You don't, never a good look of the nation is when you see a video of protesters screaming death to Canada. That doesn't really unite the country, you know. I mean, you could when it came to the trucker convoy, I can see the disagreement with it. I can see why you'd be upset about it. But this is like, you kind of look at that and be like, okay, you lost a lot of us there. We were kind of, a lot of people are like down the middle, like, okay, or this just doesn't look great, And what do? I think you just settle in at this point. You just let it happen. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We argue on the internet. That's the extent of most of our lives. And for those that aren't chronically online and not seeing all this unfold, we will play the video for you because it's I don't know. It can be quite alarming. It should be a little bit alarming. You hear this and oh, that's loud. But let's watch this together. Let me turn that down just a little.
Do not wonder how revolution could possibly be done. Men who have never known a free day, who have lived their entire lives under the thumb of one of the most powerful settler colonies in the world, built paragliders to fly over a wall so high that it blocked out the sun when you stood underneath it. Do not.
All right. You gotta pump the brakes a little bit. The paragliders coming over that wall was something else. It was like you thought you were kind of watching like Looney Tunes. You got Hamas dudes going over the wall with fully automatic weapons attached to paragliders with like a fan in the back to like float over, and you're looking at this like, what in the hell is going on over there? Because this is all foreign to us, especially in the West. None of that is happening over here. Nobody's flying over a wall with a paraglider and a fan attached to it to go and attack anybody. We got it pretty good here in Canada. We'll return to this video. Let me get this out. We got it pretty nice here. And I think personally, this is solely my views. I think personally, a lot of us have become comfortable with our lives. And for some odd reason, and just like accepting that life isn't that bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. There are issues that we can work on and make it better. But we've never dealt with, especially in my lifespan, something along the lines of guys coming over a wall with paragliders and assault rifles, assault weapons. Dudes with fully automatic weapons looking to lay some fellas down. We've never really had to experience that. And now we're all putting our opinions into the pile of like how we're going to solve it over there, as if our tweets are going to figure this all out. And it's causing like animosity between two groups. And now it's taken to the streets and we got people out here screaming death to Canada. That's how fast this escalated, by the way. This is a year. This is a year ago. And now we're here. Of like folks in the streets burning Canadian flags. And I do enjoy Canada. I do. As much as I talk trash about it, it's just fun to shit on your own country. It is. It is fun to like make fun of all of the nonsense taking place, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. I think that we should be at the bare minimum be able to get together and have conversation without slandering one another, without saying like crazy stuff about someone's character. You know, I'm probably guilty of that too. I can sit back and I can admit, yeah, I'm guilty of it. 100%. You get a little angry. What's your first thing to do? You want to defend your character and start pointing at somebody else. We've all argued with a girlfriend or a significant other. What's your first form of defense? You start attacking them. It's human nature. Human nature. And now, like, we live in an area that is that you can go on your phone and just you can get whatever the hell you want. Whatever you want. Literally, whatever you want. You can go on wayfair.com. And apparently, from what I learned on the internet, you can order human beings off of there, apparently. Isn't that crazy? Now, this is just secondhand information because I like where I exist on the internet is in conspiracy theorist takes. And what the folks are going on about was that Wayfair was selling the kids. You know, that's where we are in the world. It's so convenient that you can just purchase anything you please, anything of your wildest desires, granted you have the funds. So what I don't understand is the problems that we start scooping into our pile and then like want to project those problems on other people to be like, hey, you should care about this as much as I do, which leads to folks into the streets and screaming death to Canada. And you look at like, you know, as just like a Canadian guy, it's like, what the fuck did I do? I'm a 33-year-old. I was born in 1990. I have contributed to zero atrocities. I have no skin in the game. None whatsoever. In fact, the only thing I would like to contribute is the beer sales at a Utah hockey club game. I almost said Utah Jazz, like a damn ass. You know? That's what I want to contribute to. I want to sling back a few beers and enjoy the comfort. I want the comfort back. Like pre-lockdown comfort. Where we were just kind of like, what were we upset? Pipelines. We were upset about pipelines. Me anyways, because it pertained to the industry that I worked in. I wanted more work. So that way I can accumulate more funds to buy things to make me more comfortable. That's all. That's all. But I just find a lot of this, like, I find it crazy. I find it crazy that we're here and we're seeing it like election seasons are never good. You're seeing it ramp up. Obviously, a lot that happens in the States affects Canadian politics. We are going, a year from now, we will be going into a federal election. You got to get up off your ass, go down to whatever school or town community center, check your box, go vote for your guy, and feel like, you know, you contributed. You contributed that day to democracy. That's your contribution, is allowing these dummies to take your money, say whatever they need to say to make you kind of feel good, to their attempts to persuade you in their direction so that way they can take power. And then we move on and we wait till the next time we get to all go do it again. And we look back in the past and we go, well, that guy, you know, that guy really didn't do that much. There wasn't much happening. I don't know if I'm satisfied with the outcome of that prime minister's reign. And we go do it again in another 4 years. Complain about what that asshole didn't do, what he did do, the scandals, how much money he pissed away, what the housing market is. It was like with this protest, I think you kind of lost a lot of Canadian support with the whole, yeah, we support Hamas, we support, and this isn't even like this whole like Jew versus Arab thing. if you look at it through like the lens of a Canadian, I think that you're kind of distancing yourself from that because you don't want to be a part of some group that's screaming death to a country, especially the one that they're in. The patriotism inside me, the love and joy that I have for Canada. Now, regardless of what you feel about the culture of Canada and what being Canadian represents, is entirely up to you. I think at this point, it's subjective of what we think and feel is Canadian. Like, we're upset over Tim Hortons right now. Tim Hortons, let's be honest, folks, it's been trashed since 2002. It has been dog shit since then. And now all of a sudden, it took people 22 years? 20 years for us to wake up to the idea that a franchise that was supposed to represent Canadian identity is horrible. It's no good. Simply just because of cuts where they can cut corners and make, squeeze a little bit more money by producing all these donuts in one area and shipping them out to everywhere rather than baking them fresh. I don't know if you ever watched that, like McDonald's movie. I can't remember what it was called, of like the creation of it and how like old Roy took it over. I just watched it again a little while ago, but just where you're making we're not good. We don't want to make milkshakes with the real ice cream. We got the powder. It's costing us too much money to have a refrigerator in there. We're just not making enough money. And then the authenticity of the brand goes out the window. Yeah, just like how Tim started. It was a soup, sandwich, and coffee shop in the beginning. Guys, there's a little get-together. Old guys getting in there to shoot the shit. Little family lunch. Nice little diner. Little Canadian diner. And then you franchise it out. You got to make the money. So over time, yes. And then you want to start being like, well, it's the foreigners that did this. Well, no. They just found a way to make more money because the government is going to subsidize some of the wages. I think up to 70% of these guys' wages. So why wouldn't you take that as a business decision? Do you care that much about the quality of the product? Have you heard suit dummies sit in meetings before where they're trying to squeeze every fucking penny that they possibly can get? Have you not heard how these guys thought they don't care about quality? They would refry cow shit and serve it to you if they could make a buck. And they would still try to figure out how to squeeze as much profit out of that shit just to serve it to you. That's the business world. Welcome to capitalism, especially at that level. At that level, you think everything that you buy in the center of the grocery store is overproduced shit. That somewhere, some guy is looking at numbers and what they're paying and what they can replace. Well, if we just replace this with cornstarch, we could make an extra $100,000 a month. Why wouldn't we do that? But we look at Tim's and be like, it used to be Canadian. It never was. Since the franchises popped up. Maybe in the very, very beginning. And even then, it was still just a business. It was just a dude that opened up a coffee shop that used to play hockey for the Toronto Maple Leafs and liked to have a few drinks and get behind the wheel. That's about the most Canadian thing about Tim Hortons is the drunk driving. That is it. How many guys do you know that have a DUI? Now, the tragic outcome of him drinking and driving, not so great. We probably all collectively can agree with that. But you're going to sit and look in the mirror and say that the soups and sandwiches are a part of Canadian identity? No. The name and the actions. your forefathers, your grandfathers, your uncles, they're all guilty of having a few drinks and getting behind the wheel and going for a little cruise, whether it's to get back home, run to the convenience store to grab an extra pack of Canadian Classic King Size. Oh, we ran out of mix. Gotta head to 7-Eleven for some mix at 2 a.m. A 2 a.m. spin to the local convenience store to grab some diet soda, some diet pop, so we can mix up some rum and cokes till about 4 a.m. until one of us or all of us pass out face down on a living room floor. That's the Canadian part of it. Having a few too many Canadian clubs. You think over-processed donuts is Canadian identity? No. Enough. Knock it off. Grow up. And I know we're joking about some very serious stuff here. And this should all be taken very... No. Tim Hortons being Canadian. Come on. Every year, they make hockey cards to sell to you. They bring Nathan McKinnon and Sidney Crosby in for a shoot day, put them on a Zamboni that drives through a Tim Hortons drive-through to get some hockey cards. That's as Canadian as it gets. Selling you hockey cards. Our favorite pastime. Ah, yes, the old hockey rink where I can forget about all my problems. Wrong. This is where more problems arise, because now you look at that child, you know, that once young boy, young girl, and now you view that as your ticket out of here. And now hockey camps start adding up. The new whatever, I don't even know what sticks are. The new Bauer just came out. It's a $350 stick, and you're just thinking to yourself, oh, great, that's 4 hours overtime. Those are 4 more hours I got to plug in on that day just so my kid can have the right stick. He's got to make the team. He's got to make AAA, and that's not cheap. Now your problems get worse, and now you rely on this kid doing something with what's supposed to be a hobby, something fun for him, and you're viewing it as a lottery ticket. You got to make the NHL, son. You got to. The old man's spine is about to break. I've been carrying bricks my whole life and laying them down, just churning fucking cement, pouring it all day, every day. I lift lumber, flights of stairs. I'm a steel worker that's just, my back, my neck, my addictions to nicotine have taken over. And here I view you as my ticket out. And every day that I come down to this rink, we swing in to what was once a very fond and memorable moment of swinging through a Tim Hortons drive-thru, right? Of grabbing you a hot chocolate. You remember that, son? You remember that, son? I would go through the Tim Hortons drive-thru. You wanted a hot chocolate. And then when you got older, a little bit older, you loved yourself a little mocha before the game. A little coffee, a little hot chocolate. It's a nice mix. It's a good flavor. You got 16, need a little juice to get going. And now when we go through there, and now when I want to just to escape a little bit and go back to the past and remember those days, before it was a Filipino that would fuck up my order, and now it's just like an East Indian dude. And then that's when I start to question the Canadian identity. And in that moment, I start realizing that maybe I don't like Tim Hortons. Is it because of racism? I don't know. But I start to realize that this brand has been shit for a long time. Is it the immigrants' fault? I don't think so. I think once you go up the ladder and you start in, but we dismiss that. Hey, we got some policies in place like don't throw out all the coffee beans. Let's squeeze those coffee grinds for every last drop of dog shit coffee we can get out of it. Let's sling these just cattle in a food line, the most overproduced, chemical-induced bullshit we possibly can drum up for a profit. And when they get angry, we'll just allow them to direct it over the fact that, we accepted the temporary foreign worker program that's going to subsidize about 70% of their wages. So that way, maybe I can get a super yacht this year. I need to be in Bora Bora getting my sack licked as a CEO from, I don't know, 4 locals that can barely speak English, one to suck my toes, one to feed me grapes, and the other one just runs my shaft like it's a pump jack in Alberta. That's what I want. Do you think I give a fuck who's slinging the coffee? I'm trying to squeeze some profits here. I need money. I have an abundance of it. I have a lot of it. In fact, I've got more money than all of you retards that are bitching about this brand and the quality decline altogether. And do I care what you think? Absolutely not. How's that for a rant? But this is how we're duped. We're led to believe. And now it's seeping into the streets. And this is where it gets concerning, right? This is where it gets concerning because there are a lot of patriotic Canadians out there that really enjoy what can be done here. Sure, we can argue over the past and history of the nation all day, every day. I mean, look at the history of any country. It's not very cozy. It's not very cute and bubbly and cuddly, And it turns out human beings were quite barbaric. Is it right? I don't know. I'm not here to judge the morals of somebody in the past. Everybody was just killing one another, doing bad things to ladies, like maybe not, like not cool. Not cool. We can agree on that now. Not the greatest thing what they were doing to some of the ladies. But my point is now you see this in the streets and it's starting to resonate because now a lot of people are feeling the effect of the words being chose outdoors in form of protest, of saying things like death to Canada and burning the flag in front of all these people that are applauding this. So those that do truly care about the issues that exist in the borders of Canada now feel like they're being disrespected. That's how I find this. This is just my own thoughts. I feel like some folks are looking at that, the actions of this Palestine protest out in Vancouver, and they feel like this is almost like a direct attack on them because they enjoy what Canada offers them. It offers them comfort. It offers them a great life to wake up and not have a ballistic missile smash into a school. Probably a good feeling. Probably a great feeling. Do we bitch about a lot of the problems that exist in Canada? 100%. Who wants to live in an area that's riddled with crime? Drug addiction is through the fucking roof, and it's just it's almost being they're making it easier for these folks to continue down that path of like self-destruction with drug abuse. Just be like, yeah, don't worry. Here's safe supply. Safe supply. Where's the help? We got a lot of disenfranchised Canadians out on the streets that would probably, give in the right direction. And then should it be forced? Should it not? I don't know. I'm not the moral police. I'm a dumbass. You come to this podcast just to hear an idiot rant. But we see those folks, right? And there's where are they all coming from? More and more people are slipping into that lifestyle, and it's sad. It is. It's a bummer. You don't want to see who looks at a guy down on his luck and gets happy about it. Nobody. Only wingnuts. When you see a dude down on his luck, lady too, whatever. Dudes, the word dude on this podcast is non-binary. Let's clear that up. When you see a dude out there and he's down on his luck, you're like, fuck, man. You kind of, you see it and you want to, like, yourself in his shoes, and it's like, dude, god damn, I fucking couldn't imagine living like that. I'm sure we've all had that conversation before. I don't know how these folks can just live in a tent and shoot heroin all day, because it's an escape. And we've, like, this is what comfort can produce in some circumstances. Is, I don't even, maybe comfort is the wrong word. This is what, actually, no, comfort does. Because then that comfort allows individuals to almost con the system, which makes it harder for others. And then that comfort that we once had is now being attacked. And this causes this cause and effect of the comfort of being almost oblivious to the issues that got this ball rolling towards it. It gets dismissed because we have these wonderful things around us, like a cell phone that I can order a pizza anytime that I want. Why would I care about, the rest of the world? Why would I care about the other individuals in the community that are having a rough time, When I can order a pizza, I work hard. And then the government starts clawing more money. Well, it's got to go to programs to help these people. Yet the problem isn't being fixed. It's almost like, oh, what's going on here? It's almost like these programs now exist because they extract money, and it's part of the economy now. That's the sad thing. It's like, that's another thing I find interesting with the homeless situation is it's become an industry to extract money and just pump it in. And then you're purchasing goods to hand out, your safe supply. This all isn't free. The pharmaceutical industry is making money. Somebody's making money. None of this just happens. It's almost like our socialism is masked capitalism. And somebody's getting rich off of it. And it is not the people. It is certainly not the people. And it's sad. It's sad. And that's what gets us here. Maybe I'm being too real today. But I don't know. These are things that I think that folks should talk about. I don't think that any issue should be off the table, personally. That's why I disagree with a lot of folks that refuse to speak with one another because of, like, I don't know, they disagree on politics or policy. Why are we not talking about it? Why are we not seeing each other's points? But instead be like, ugh. We're in this time where we have to scream at one another and slander one another and try and just smear someone's character. So that way, when people do... Oh, whoops. My apologies. My Bluetooth is still connected to this. But to dissuade people from speaking with one another. And then it pushes you deeper into, whether you want to call it radicalization or into this like hive mind mentality or these echo chambers, is because these are the only folks that are willing to listen to you because you got the same talking points. We're not exchanging ideas. And that's the great thing about a free society, is we should be exchanging ideas. So that way we can all be free. I don't know how that is so hard to understand, and it's sad. I don't advocate for any violence. I don't want to see any violence. I'm not for that. I don't want that. Call me gay, call me a pussy, but I think that's retarded. But it seems like this is where it's heading. You can see it in the streets. Is like folks that show up. I just seen a video of some dude showing up to one of these protests, and he had his Canadian flag. And he gets he's getting punched in the head. He's getting socked in the mouth. That ain't right. That ain't right. That is not how you want change, and this is it. You're going to strong arm it. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's what I don't get is nobody wants to just accept that maybe they're just a fucking idiot too. Maybe we're all just idiots. Maybe, just maybe, the fluoride got us all. Maybe we're all just a bunch of fucking tongue biters. We're all just chewing our own tongues, screaming into the void. Just fucking recognize me, give me something. Tell me I'm doing a good job.
Wonder how revolution could be done.
Let's begin this. All right, start the show.
We must do it. How revolution could possibly be done. Men who have never known a free day, who have lived their entire lives under the thumb of one of the most powerful settler colonies in the world, built paragliders to fly over a wall so high that it blocked out the sun when you stood underneath it.
That flew paragliders so high that it blocked out the sun if you stood underneath it. That is a funny thing. That is in terms of like war, like the Americans flew their fighter jets so high that it blocked out the sun. Hamas flew paragliders over a wall so high that it blocked. They had makeshift kites with humans attached to them and one of those little fans that you can buy at the dollar store to cool you off on a hot day. One of those handheld fans that you see like fat people walking around Disneyland with, just cooling yourself off. There was one of them with he attached himself to a kite just to kind of direct where we can go, and a handful of balloons like he was on the cover of Up, and a little fan. And he scooted over that wall and went so high he blocked out the moon.
Do not wonder how revolution can be done. We must do it. Death to Canada, death to the United States, and death to Israel.
Yeah, not good, right? Like not good. Can we agree with that? Not great. And then my stupid ass tells a joke and somehow I'm what? Am I equal to that? I hope not. I hope that my talk isn't equal to that. And we're supposed to look around and be like, the country's fine. It's you that's the problem, right? The country's fine. It's you. You're the problem. You woke up today. You're the problem. Have you heard about this thing called the Maids Program by chance? You're the problem. It's concerning. It should be concerning, quite honestly. And I don't think it should be wrong to think that it is concerning. Not even in the slightest. Those are pretty powerful words. And you got to do that on a comedy stage. Why are you not in a comedy club saying that? You might be able to slide a little bit, just a little bit, not as much, but if there's like Magooni's Chuckle Hut behind you and the sign and you film it and make a TikTok clip out of it, maybe, just maybe, excuse me, some folks will be like, oh, that's a good bit. That's a great bit. That's a great punchline. Huh. Not bad. Good joke. Some folks might be a little upset and they'll call everywhere trying to make sure that you never tell that joke again. But at least you got the bit out there. At least you did. At least you thought it was going to be a great bit and you put it online and it turns out not a great bit. turns out that maybe, just maybe, they just didn't understand what you were doing. Maybe you didn't portray it that well. A lot of factors in there. You gotta like, whoa, you're in the laser room, right? You ever been in the like when the jewel thief and the laser, you spray the hairspray and now okay, this is dodge that one, okay. He's an anti-Semite. Okay, dodge that one. My friend's a Jew. Does that count? Oh, okay, skinned me. Alarms are going off. You can't be friends with a Jewish guy right now. What are you doing, Hack? You can't be friends with Nick McQuick right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? You gotta condemn him. You gotta tell Nick McQuick that he's a naughty boy because of his faith. What a wild time. What a wild time. You can't just say it's a wild time right now. There's a lot of issues that don't pertain to your personal life. Maybe being a little narcissistic and self-centered isn't the worst thing. Just worrying about you. Maybe it isn't the worst thing. Just what is in your life? What can you control? Maybe going out in the streets and screaming death to Canada isn't the best thing right now. A lot of people are feeling a little, feisty. A lot of people still upset about the lockdowns, about all the mandates. A lot of people still upset about how those fellas in Coots were treated. Some people are upset that new laws are being passed about trans kids. We all got our things that we're upset about. And I think I wonder what the dude that doesn't have Twitter or any social media right now, what does he think when you tell him that? Does he shrug and just go, I don't care. I got to file fucking taxes. I'm behind on my taxes. I don't give a shit. My power bill's about to go out because the cost of living has risen and my wage hasn't changed in about 7 years. I'm going through it. Let them scream whatever the fuck they want downtown. I don't care. Is that what that guy's up to? What's his life look like? Is it peaceful? Is he enjoying himself? We will never know because that guy doesn't put his thoughts online. Unlike my dumbass. I decide to sit here for an hour a week and spew my nonsense week after week. Is it correct? Is it wrong? I don't know. I'm just messing around. I see things. I have my opinions, my thoughts, and I just say them. That's all. That's really it. And just having that, just thinking indifferently to somebody else constitutes almost it almost is like grounds of warfare for having a different belief. Why? I don't know. I don't fucking know. One good story though. We're going to end on a great story. And I had a ball watching this. Had a ball. This guy, all those poor folks down in Florida going through this, but like Florida, of all places, taking on a hurricane is the wildest shit. I guess when you're in a land, like look at Australia. Look at the people that Australia produces, right? They're wild. They're erratic. They're a good fucking time. When you have animals that in just one strike can kill you. Spiders the size of dinner plates. Snakes that are poisonous of like, we're taught, what is the percent of animals that are dangerous to humans out there? I know it's high. I know it's high. But when you factor that in to how these people are produced, that has to be like a key factor of like why those people are the way they are. When you just accept death because you might have a bad interaction with an animal one day, I think you just kind of remove some sort like care. Like care kind of is out the window. You care, but you don't. And that's the same with Florida. You got alligators and fucking a new goddamn, because some snakes escaped and now they've mass produced and they're wiping out. Guys are out there. Their job is to go and catch boa constrictors. Their job is to go out there and catch these giant fucking snakes. Dudes are filming it on YouTube. You got Florida guys. They're robbing convenience stores with alligators. The insanity that comes out of that state should be written in the history books to be studied in the future. Civilizations in the future, if documented, will look at those people and think, what the hell was happening there? Was it something in the water? Is it the sea salt in the air? What is it? What is it about that area? And the story that I'm about to talk about is a TikTok sensation. This man deserves to be celebrated in the highest of calibers. I'm talking about Lieutenant Dan. Refuses to leave his boat during Hurricane Milton. You can't even make this up.
Tracking Milton tonight, a live look right there over Tampa, Florida. A lot of flooding already rushing Bayshore Boulevard right there next to Tampa Bay. And nearby, some refusing to evacuate ahead of that dangerous storm. Joseph Malinowski, known to locals as Lieutenant Dan, he's generated a lot of heat so far tonight.
It's hilarious.
Earlier,
he accepts it as a nickname. A veteran, lost a limb. They're like, hey, Lieutenant Dan. He's just like, yeah, whatever. Don't care. Great nickname. I get it. Ha, ha, ha. Just accepts it. And then he goes and he's like, this is all I own. This is literally, I watched him talk about it. He's like, this is all I have. All I have is this boat. They cut him off from social services because apparently he's not deemed disabled, even though he's lost a limb. How he lost a limb, I'm unaware of. But here he is in his boat, the only thing that is to his name, and he is not going to lose it for nothing. Not some fucking hurricane named Milton. Milton can suck it. He gave a DX chop to a hurricane and just said, fuck it, I'll ride it out. I'll Kelly Slater those waves in my goddamn Bayliner if I have to. I will die on this boat. What a goddamn patriot. This man deserves to be celebrated to the high heavens and back.
here you see it here. Police tried to force him to leave his sailboat in Tampa Bay, but he didn't head to shelter. He refused to get in. Now, video from today shows him struggling to prepare that sailboat for the conditions to come. He survived Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago and says, even facing arrest, even risking his own life, he is riding out that storm tonight.
God sent me here. He sent me here.
Damn right he
He
did.
told me to come here. My life, this is nothing compared to what I've been through, so this doesn't scare me. It's not even a minor inconvenience.
Badass. This isn't even a minor inconvenience. He's taunting fucking not one, but two. He's 2-0 against hurricanes. Make a statue of this guy. Joseph Malinowski. Get a statue up. Lieutenant Dan. Just wants his boat. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. We're going to arrest you if you don't leave. Go ahead. I ain't leaving. Well, we're going to put you in shelter. We're going to force you into shelter. No, you are not. Tell that hurricane to come on through. I got some words for him. Holy, I'm charged up. I'm motivated now. This man took on a hurricane. This man took on a hurricane, and half of us don't even have the stones to tell our boss to fuck off. And he looked at God. He said, you put me here? You want me to take on a hurricane? Fine. Fuck it. Send it in. They sent one in. He looked at it, laughed, scoffed at it. Pfft, that's it? That's it? That's what you sent at me? And he's like, okay. God looked at him and he was like, all right, round 2, knuckle up. He says, like, I give a shit about your gay little hurricane. Bring it on, pussy. I'll be right here, chilling in my boat. The cops even come down. They're like, hey, we're going to arrest you if you don't leave. Oh, yeah? Give it a go. He just hit him with a Jordan Belfort. I ain't fucking leaving. We got the Wolf of Wall Street out here. The sea lion of fucking Tampa Bay. Make a movie. Sea Lion of Tampa Bay. Don't even credit me for the name. This guy, 2 hurricanes, 2-0 versus hurricanes. Half of you can't even win an argument with your wife. And this guy took on a hurricane. And I'm going to keep saying it until it registers in your mind that this man is a legend. Dude of the year. Yeah, shit, I don't know. God sent me here. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a god dang about no goddamn hurricane. Send it down. Send 2. Send 3. How many rounds you want? I'm ready. I didn't hear no bell. Fuck. In a sailboat. This is all I have, and I'll fight till the end, and it is my God-given right. Wow.
Again, hours earlier, Mayor Jane Castor of Tampa did threaten to arrest him for his own protection and force him into a shelter. And at this hour, it's unclear if that has happened yet.
New tonight.
At this hour, it is unclear if that has happened. Of course it didn't. He took on the hurricane. I seen like something about him the next day, and they were like, yeah, no, made it through. Nothing. What else you got? The mayor's going to step in and make sure that this man is safe. We're going to arrest him and put him in what? A jail cell? What are you going to put him in? You going to force him to be in like some building that could collapse? No, let him. He wants to surf the waves like he's fucking Kelly Slater. Let him have at it. He looked at a weather disaster and spat in its face. What are you going to do to stop this guy? Nothing. Not even. He didn't even question it. Didn't even question it. Good for him. Salute. That's how you end a fucking podcast. Charged up. You should be charged up. You should be fired up knowing a man with one leg took on 2 hurricanes. That's the dude of the day. Dude of the day. Dude of the year. Dude of the month. Statue built now in Tampa. Lieutenant Dan. Doesn't ask for money. Doesn't ask for anything. He's like, yeah, I'm a little down on my luck, but whatever. I'm here. I ain't giving up my boat. I am not giving up my goddamn boat. People are ratchet strapping their houses down. Florida, baby. Florida. Come get some. That is the come get some state. I thought it was Texas. Like Texas is up there. But I think at this point, you got to just look at Florida and be like, yeah, most of these people are just looking like, I ain't going, get fucked. I ain't going anywhere. Fuck that hurricane. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. Please, if you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/DangerCat69. Sign up for exclusive episodes. One is waiting for you right now. We appreciate it. A little story time about we go and have some fun on the Patreon. We call everything gay on there. Anyways, good night. Patreon.com/DangerCat69. Link in the description for tickets as well for the upcoming shows that you heard at the beginning of the episode. And we appreciate you being here. Appreciate you listening. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you are on, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, please give a follow or like a like on it. I don't know how it operates over there. Rate the podcast, leave a comment, all that good stuff. I'm trying to get better at this every day. And we'll see you next Thursday at 3 p.m.